That was a close call. Okay, so I was packing stuff up from my house to donate, and the car was packed up. I came up here, and 10 minutes into parking, I looked out, and the car was lost its gear or whatever, and it's backed up, and it went into this tree very slowly. Actually, it was actually in slow motion. So immediately, let me know when you realize the problem, the critical mistake I made parking or driving up to this hill and taking stuff out. All right, so what happened is I first went to the dumpster and I drove up here to the steep hill, and I'm like, okay, well, I definitely need to put my emergency brake on. I'm on a steep hill. I still had the engine on. So immediately I had my foot on the brake. I put on the emergency brake, okay, and then I turned my tires slanted so it would go into the grass. Now, as you can see, if the reason you do that because you don't want to go off into the road and hit a car or a kid on a bike or whatever. And I didn't want to have it turned the other way because then it would go onto this ditch and maybe flip over or whatever. So as you can see there, I made sure to do that. I put the emergency brake on, and then I got out, went inside my home, and then it slowly went probably 5 to 10 minutes while I was packing stuff in it. Now, I did notice I was wanting to put stuff in the trunk, and the trunk wouldn't open. I was like, wonder why the trunk won't pop. Is it because I'm at an angle? And then I kept hearing the whole time for 10 minutes, 5 to 10 minutes, basically metal grinding here in the back of the wheel where the brake is. So I'm just thinking, okay, it's just my emergency brake that's struggling. But, I'm here on this hill. There's no way that it would collapse and fall down. So pause this video and put in the comment section what mistake that I did make. And I did make a mistake. It's not faulty brakes. I made a mistake. Now, I could tell you one mistake I made was I was on the phone with a family member as I was driving up here. And while I was taking stuff out of the house into the car, I was still on the phone. So from the minute that I drive here, I'm on the phone and I park. So that's a mistake I made. And that's the mistake I made. One mistake I made was being on the phone. And that took about 30% of my concentration away of what I was doing. If I wasn't on the phone, I would not have made this mistake. All right, pause the video, put in the comment section. Don't look at the other comments. And the first one who gets it right, I'll make sure I put a heart on it. What mistake did I make? Okay, the mistake that I made was when I went down here, when it would hit this tree down here, I opened up the door and I was like, what could I have done? What could I have done? And then I looked over here at the gear shift and I realized it was not in park. It was actually in drive. So being that I was distracted on the phone, I drove up here, I put my foot on the brake, put the emergency brake on, made sure I turned the steering wheel to where it wouldn't go out in the road, closed the door while it was still in drive. And that is the reason that the wheels were grinding the whole time, is because literally the emergency brake was what was holding it up. And most likely, that's the reason it didn't go further down into the tree, maybe knocking down the tree and causing damage to the car, which it did not do, didn't cause any damage, is because the emergency brake was probably still engaged a little bit to slow down the traction down the hill. When I was trying to get that trunk open, and when I tried to hit thank goodness that car did not lose brake while I was behind the car. All right, thanks so much for watching, and make sure you subscribe.